Hello, Internet. So nice to see you, and welcome to another music theory talk. Today, we are going to talk about modes. Modes, which are one of the things that online are the most misunderstood, the most maligned, the most talk about. Modes are actually very easy. I don't get all those people saying that you should not learn modes because they are actually very easy. They are very useful. They sound great. And yeah, you should just learn your modes. So, today we're gonna do a deep dive into the Lydian mode. It's one of the modes I like best. It's a very nice mode. It sounds great. It's famous too. So we're gonna do a deep dive in that. I'm gonna show you that. It's actually very easy. Now, if you are watching us, please say hi in the chat and say where you are from. I want to know where you guys are from. And remember that throughout all today's live stream, we take questions. So if you have questions, possibly about the Lydian mode, okay, write them in the chat, and then we're going to answer them live. And if you have other questions on other stuff, we may answer some of them at the end of the live stream. So say hi, and don't be shy and ask questions, okay? Now, to talk about the Lydian mode, I have with me one of the best guitar players I know, actually. Okay, despite the young age. Let me introduce you guys to the guitar virtuoso Johan Tillgren. Hi, Johan.
Hey, awesome.
Hey, so, well, Johan, do you like the Lydian mode? You
Actually,
should.
no. Yeah,
actually, no. Actually, you don't. Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So, we were discussing just before starting this live stream. You and I were discussing, but Lydian is a scale or a mode, or it doesn't even make sense to see the scale and modes are different. Or for me, and again for you too, I guess, we don't really care. Okay, we care about the music you can make on it, because different people define the word scale and the word mode differently. So sometimes Lydian is a scale, sometimes Lydian is a mode, sometimes Lydian is both, sometimes Lydian is a mode of another scale. Okay, and honestly, we don't care because we want to make music. Okay, so it's probably both. I mean, for me, it's both. Lydian is a scale and it's a mode of the major scale. That's for me. Johan, anything to add?
Yeah, it's the most important thing is that I guess the feeling about it. That it has a certain feel about it. You know, the spacey, Lydian, floating space thing, and however you define it, as mode or scale, it's still the same sound. So.
Fantastic. Now they're telling me that there is an echo on your voice, which is probably my fault. So I'm gonna mute every time that I'm not talking. So if you guys seems like that I'm not responding to Johan, it's because I'm fiddling with the microphone. Okay. Very good. Johan, you have a lot of things to say about the Lydian mode. Now, before people starts getting, oh my God, what is Johan playing? This is too complicated for me. I'm telling you guys, if you go in the description of the video, there is a link to a PDF file that Johan gently typeset for us with a number of leaks that is going to show us today. I suggest you guys download it. I suggest you follow Johan when he's explaining the leaks, because if you just look at the PDF, you're not going to learn much without the explanation. Okay. But yeah, the file is in the description. Go and download it. And then, Johan, introduce us to the Lydian mode and tell us what to do with that.
Okay, so Lydian mode, we have, if you compare it, just first the theory about it, if you compare it to a major scale, we have a raised fourth note instead of a third note, instead of a normal fourth. So if you play a major scale, we have, for example, in C major, we have C, D, E, and F. But for Lydian, we raise the F to an F sharp, and that's basically it. So what we want to do when we shred or we, play faster stuff or just, play cool stuff on guitar in the Lydian mode is we want to accentuate this sharp 4 as much as possible, because if you don't do that, then might as well be playing major or something else. One way I like to do it is just take a regular arpeggio, so a C major arpeggio. So here I'm playing on 2 strings. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to add the sharp 4. So instead of 1, 3, 5, we're going to add the sharp 4 before the 5. So it's, and this in itself creates a cool sound. You can make a riff out of that, whatever you want to do. Then we're going to move that to 2 strings down, and we're going to start on the C note again. You can see this in the PDF in the first example 1. Start on the C note, and you play the same shape. And then you do the same, 2 strings down, start on the C note again, on the 13th fret. And combined, this creates a very cool way to use the Lydian mode. So what I'm doing is just climbing back and forth throughout this pattern, and I find this to be a very useful because it's more than 1 octave, and it's just fun to play. What I usually do, what I noted in the PDF, is I palm mute the first string in each pair. So palm mute the first 2 notes, and then the next 2 are legato, or a hammer on basically. The last the last string pair is a little bit awkward, so you don't have to do palm muting there, but you could. So that's one way to use it, and if it's just you playing, I guess you can move it around and do different Lydian modes. But assuming in most cases you're gonna have a backing track, and then you're just gonna do it in the key of C major, of course. But yeah, that's my first idea, and I don't remember where I got it from. Probably noodling around, jamming, something like that. So yeah, and you could also move it around, I guess, starting with different strings, as long as you start on a C note anywhere. You can move around, do stuff. You can also, after you play that, you can slide around. And do some melodic thing with it too, if you want more phrasing. Yeah, so that's example 1. Let's see what we have done. Then what I like to do is you can also do it as arpeggios. So you can take a normal 3-string arpeggio where I'm playing starting on the 15th fret here, and then in the same way you just add the sharp 4. So and this in example 2 here, I start on the sharp 4 here on the 14th fret, the F sharp here, and then hammer on to the 5th, and then down the arpeggio, and then I slide down to the sharp 4 again. And then by landing on that note, you really get the Lydian sound. You might not stop the whole phrase there, but you can at least, land on it temporarily. So that's one thing I'd like to do too. Tommaso, do you do something similar when you're playing Lydian? Like
yes, I do. I was trying your lick actually because it sounds so nice. And it's so simple. That's the thing. It's just the C major arpeggio, so the arpeggio of the tonic in the scale, plus the sharp 4th, which is the typical note of Lydian. So it's the kind of the quintessential Lydian thing. Okay, it just sounds good already as it is. I mean, there's no need to do anything strange. It sounds so good already as it is, and you just need to mix and match those notes, and it just sounds good. It's the magic of modes. I mean, it's like it's that sound. You like it, I like it, they like it, okay, and it just sounds good. I was reading a few of the questions here. I would like to feel this one a moment. And I'm gonna feel that. Is it fair to say that in sophisticated music, any major chord can be treated as Lydian, even the first chord per George Russell? Okay, so first of all, George Russell is the guy who wrote the Lydian chromatic concept of tonal organization, or something like that. I don't remember the exact title of the book. Of that book, I'll just say that George Russell has his own perspective, which is just his own perspective. You can like it, you may not like it. It's not how things are. It's a possible perspective on the whole thing. Okay, which is okay, but not the only story. Okay, so if you guys like the kind of music that can be created thinking in that way, yeah, and it's mostly jazz, or at least most people who use that end up doing jazz. And if you don't like it, you don't. Okay, that's the idea. Now, the sophisticated music, that depends what you mean. If it's by sophisticated music you mean jazz, well, yeah. Okay. If by sophisticated music you mean something else, then no. Okay, that's the thing. In jazz, typically on a major chord you would play a Lydian. On a minor chord you will play Dorian rather than playing Aeolian or natural minor. On a dominant chord, you will either play Lydian dominant, so on a scale with a sharp 4 and a flat 7, or you will play the altered dominant, which is, well, the altered dominant requires a lesson per se. If you don't know what it is, I'm not going to introduce it and then just saying it. Okay, so if that's the standard approach in jazz as it's taught by several jazz colleges and several books, it does sound good. Not say no. It does create jazz. Okay, because if you play more than one major chord in a key, and on all of them you play the Lydian mode, you are changing key in the solo. You're going out of key, and those notes that where you go out of key sound good. Not saying no. Okay, and that's also the approach used by a specific music school that I will not mention, where they say that there are avoid notes. Like on the major chord, you should never play the perfect fourth. They say because it's an avoid note. The perfect fourth in a major chord sounds great to me. Okay, just saying. Okay, and it's a specific sound that many jazz players don't like. So if you like the jazzy side of thing, play the sharp fourth. If you don't like the jazzy side of thing, play the perfect fourth. Okay, so on a major chord, on C, you may like the fourth. That's the fourth, or you may like the sharp fourth. They are both perfectly legitimate notes. But if you play jazz and you play the fourth, it sounds because it's not what you expect. Okay. On the other hand, if you play, say, pop music and you play Lydian, it may work or not because it gives this jazzy sound. So it is fair to say that in some music you treat every major chord as Lydian and every minor as Dorian and every dominant as either Lydian dominant or altered. If you like that sound. And I would recommend all of you guys to try that. Okay. And if you don't like the sound, then it's not fair to say because that's not what it happens. Okay. My point is saying that that's one recipe that gives a specific result and it's a good recipe. But that's not the only thing you can cook. Anyway, end of the rant. Okay, let's go back to the Lydian leaks. So
Back to the Lydian kitchen.
back to the Lydian teaching, yes.
Cool, yeah, and I agree that you try out and you find the sound that you like, basically. Yeah, and then for arpeggios, I have only one more example, which is the same type of lick. You just add a couple of notes at the bottom. So you start the same way, and then you continue. slide down to the 11th fret on the G string, then you continue down. This is, how should I explain it? It just fits good with the fingers. I don't know where I got it from. It might have been I saw someone do something. I think it might have been from Opus 2, Tom Hess record. It might be from there, because he has a lot of Lydian stuff, or Mike Walsh or someone, something like that. But it's just a cool sound. The point is just to find simple ways that are easy to play, fits well, has good, easy to play fast. So I like those. Then another way to use the Lydian that I like is on a single string. So a problem with the sharp 4 is that if you only play the sharp 4 as it is, and you have no backing track or no root anywhere, it's not gonna sound like Lydian. And sometimes even if you have a backing track, you might only have I don't know. I guess if you have a bass player, you have the root note, but it might not be apparent that it is Lydian. So anyway, what I like to do is to both use the sharp 4 note, the 3rd, the 5th, and then try to play the root as much as possible. So what I'm doing in example 4 on the PDF is I just do an open string pedal tone thing. So it's an E Lydian, and it just goes. So the notes are just, E, and then we have the 3rd, sharp 4, 5th, 6th, and the root again. And but what a lot of people do when they do, fast licks like this is they just play in a boring rhythm. So they do like, and sometimes it can work, but what the cool thing about this thing is you can switch up the rhythm. So what I do is I do 3 hammer-ons, so it's, and then you just play 1 note. So in total it's 7 notes, you can say. So it shifts every 7 notes. The point is just switch it up so it's not typical only straight 16th notes, but you accent different notes. And then you can just improvise on the Lydian scale, the whole string, This works great if you have an open string that works with Lydian. You could do it if there's no open string that fits the key as well, but that's more advanced. So, E Lydian works great, B Lydian, G Lydian, D Lydian, all those modes work great. You could also, if you have an open string that is the 5th of the Lydian mode you're in, it could work great too. So, for example, in example 5 here, if I'm playing on the B string, and we're still in E Lydian, and the B note here is the 5th of the E Lydian scale. So you can still do hammer-ons and stuff. So I'm just playing E Lydian scale. Here I'm using a little bit more legato, so this is a typical Petrucci thing. I have so many ideas. You can also do more tremolo before you do the legato thing, so you can so then you get even more notes in a short period of time. And then, of course, if you want to move that, if you're playing in C Lydian again, let's say, you can play on the G string, because the note G is the fifth of the C Lydian mode. So you can play in C Lydian still, and still use open strings, even though there's no C string on the guitar. So there's the C note. Of course, you can add tapping, all kinds of things. It's endless. I mean, you can do so many things. What I did there is something that I think I learned from you, Tommaso, which is to superimpose two chords. I think it's called superimposition, where you
Yeah, we did a master class on that. Yes.
Yes. So I played the C major triad first, and then the D major triad. And because the D major triad includes an F sharp, you sort of get the Lydian sound when you shift between C major and D major. So in C you have C, E, G, just C major sound, and then in D you have the D, F sharp, A. And then when you combine them, you sort of get a Lydian sound by the combination of that. And then you can open string as well. So a cool thing that happens there too is that you also get the ninth, because the D note is the ninth of the C major triad. So that's one cool way to use Lydian that I like too, where because the sharp 4, if you only play it as it is, let's say if you would play as a chord, if you play just a C major chord, and then you add the sharp 4, you may or may not like that sound. It sounds cool leading to something maybe, but a cool way to sweeten the sound is just to use the ninth, so you can use the D note. And you can do that with chords, you can do it with arpeggios, so you're adding the sharp 4 and the ninth.
Yeah, that's something that it's kind of a rule in music theory, actually. Okay. That if you have an 11th, just the fourth is an 11th, okay, or sharp, whether it's sharp or not, you want to support it with the ninth, and occasionally you also want to omit the third. You may or may not. And in general, with the perfect 11th, perfect fourth, you will omit the third, or at least the major third. And or I mean, if there is a half step distance between the third and the 11th, you typically omit the third and keep the 11th. If there is a full step, so it's minor third, perfect fourth, or major third, sharp 11th, you can keep both. It's kind of a rule, actually. Okay. And again, rules in music theory don't mean anything. Okay? It's not that if you don't do it, people will come to your house, knock at the door at night, and arrest you. It's just that, yeah, like Johan says, this sounds better than just playing than playing playing this. I mean, even if you had the third, it's going to be complicated. Okay, so why it works? Because the ninth is a major third away from the sharp fourth. So you're adding a consonant note to that note, which is the dissonant note, and you're kind of supporting that note in the chord. That's the reason. But yeah, it is kind of a rule. Okay, and I'm always surprised when if you guys studied your music theory, this would be obvious. And I'm not talking with Johan. Johan is trying to explain to you, but this is the kind of thing that when somebody has studied music theory and they write music, there's always a certain extra in the song. This is one of the things that gives you the extra. So if you've never heard it before, take notes because Johan just gave you a little secret here. Okay, when you have a sharp fourth supporting with a ninth. I want to add to feel this like very Satriani-ish. Okay, and yes, because Satriani is using the Lydian mode all the time. In fact, I think Satriani's at the beginning was pretty much, hey, let's use the Lydian mode in rock. Okay, it's one of his great ideas. Not the only idea I had, but one of the first and one of his great ideas. So yes, of course, he kind of used that and put his name on it. Okay, I'm doing this, and I'm the first one doing this. I mean, I don't know if Satriani was actually the first one to do because you never know who's the first one doing something, but it was totally the first who became famous for it. So
Yeah.
okay, so let's go on the next. Again, if you guys have questions, comments, etc., put them in the chat. As you see, we are fielding them. Okay, so we do want to answer your questions. What's next, Johan? After all the tapping madness, what's the next thing?
Yes, now we're going to step it down and go back to something called a very special scale called Hiroshi. Um, there's some theory behind this, of course, but I just think of this as a C major 7 chord or arpeggio with a sharp 4, sharp 11 added to it. So what this is uh, basically a two note per string scale. It goes like this. And this is the exact same as example 1 and example 2 and 3 that I played before, because it's a C major triad, but with an added note. So it's a C major triad and sharp 4, sharp 11, but we also add the major 7th. And that's also, I guess, a way to sweeten the sound, because you have the 5th to the major 7 is the 3rd. So it's basically becomes like 2/3 stacked upon each other. Actually, 3/3, because you have C to E, it's a third. Then you have the D to the F sharp. Or sorry, let me lay it out in scale degrees. So from the 1 to the 3rd, to the major 3rd, you have a 3rd. Then from the 2nd, or I guess the 9th, to the sharp 11th, it's also major 3rd. And then from the 5th to the 7th, it's also major 3rd. So it's just a bunch of major 3rds, and together it creates very space-like sound. I'm sure you could play it as a chord some way too, but it's it's a lot of notes close by, so it's easier to play as an arpeggio. And this can be called a Hiroshi scale. Some people call it that. I think there's some confusion. I think sometimes the Hiroshi, Tomasi, you probably know this. You start on the root or this minor sixth when you play the Hiroshi scale.
Well, who knows? Hiroshi originally is the name of a tuning, so who knows
Oh,
which one is the root? No, I mean it's called the Hiroshi scale now, or something else. But Hiroshi originally, they tell me, was the name of a tuning, not the name of can I say not the name of a scale. So which one is the real Hiroshi? I don't know. But I wanna say two things to our listeners here, because the first is this: you see Johan wailing me through those licks, okay, and you may think you don't have the technique to play that. But those licks are actually pretty easy. Okay, it doesn't. I'm not saying this in the sense of if you cannot play them, you're bad. I'm saying it in the sense that those licks are optimized to require the least amount of techniques for the speed. So maybe you cannot play them at the same speed as Johan. I can't play them at the same speed as Johan. I mean, not right now, maybe with a bit of practice. But if you can probably play them much faster than you think you can, respect to other licks because they are optimized to be easy technically. Okay, the tapping licks are easier than they look. The arpeggios licks are easier than they look. Shredders, and I include me and Johan in this classification. Okay, do optimize this stuff. That we search for the easiest thing that we can play fast. Okay, and then there's the artful application of using the right lick at the right time, etc. But most of the stuff that we play fast, it's not hard. It's not complicated. It's not complex either. Okay, we just took some simple thing and we learned to play it fast. Okay, one needs to know about that, because otherwise everything Johan is playing seems impossible, unarrivaled, but unattainable. All these kind of things. It's not as hard. And if anything, in the PDF in the description, you have a compilation of easy licks that are easy to speed up. Okay, and not as hard as they look. I mean, they look impressive when you hear them, but technically speaking, Johan hands are under no strain. He's not rushing through it. Okay, and they're easier than they look. And that's one thing. And the second thing is that this comment is going to happen before or later. Like, so the Hiroshi scale of the Hiroshi Lydian or whatever it is, the one that scale that Johan just explained. So it's just a Lydian scale in which I take out the second and the seventh. Yes.
And the sixth.
The second and sixth. Sorry, of course. I should not do those calculations in real time. The second and the sixth, yes, it's just that. So why we are even learning it if it's just the Lydian scale? Because when you take out two notes, it sounds different. Just like the minor pentatonic does not sound like the Aeolian scale, because you take out two notes, and so you take out the half step. In this case, you leave the half steps in, but you take out other stuff, and so it sounds different. And that's reason number one. The reason number two is because 5 notes are easier than 7. Okay, and they're easier to learn, easier to remember, easier to play with. And 3, because 5 notes are more distinctive than 7. If you play the Lydian scale and if you play the Hiroshi scale, the way Johan explains, so the Hiroshi Lydian, as I call it, it sounds different because you hear the 2 notes missing, that they're missing, okay, one way or another. So it's kind of a negative space thingy, okay? So you sound more distinctive. If you were just playing Lydian, you will not sound as distinctive. So lots of people are like, I can't play those lick as fast. And this is just the Lydian scale. Guys, you make it easy because yes, it is just a Lydian scale, but it's 5 notes, so you're making it easier. And then you can play it fast. Okay? We guitar player have always these things that we want to play the most complex thing ever. And then we are frustrated because we cannot play it fast, because we cannot play it well, because we cannot play it live. Okay? And get some simple things and speed them up. And you can be a shredder too. Okay? So here's the thing. There is a question here. Triads are 1, 3, 4 sharp. That's not a triad. Okay. The definition of triad is vague at best, because some people think the triad are only major and minor. Some people will include the diminished and augmented triads too. Some people will include the suspended chords as triads. Some other people won't. People will even include the 1 sharp 4 5 or 1 flat 2 5 as the Lydian and the Phrygian triad, but some other people won't. So everybody defines triads in a different way. That's in a minute. Okay. So, but 1, 3, 5, 3, 4 sharp, it's not a triad. It doesn't matter because the definition of triad is not sing any 3 notes. Okay. All triads are made of 3 notes. Not all groups of 3 notes are triad. And that on that pretty much everybody agrees. Okay. So, 1, 5, 3, bump to a sharp 4. So again, yeah, but you could play again 1, 5, and then the sharp 4, and then. But is that a triad? No. I mean, not to me. Some people will define it as the Lydian triad. I know Rick Beato defines it as the Lydian triad. I think at this point that the word triad has been stretched too much, but up to you. Okay. Yeah. But you can play it. The important thing, see, that's the other thing. Who cares about the name? Whether I call it triad and somebody else doesn't, or vice versa. Who cares? Can you play it? Yes, you can. As long as it fits the chord and it fits the scale, the scale, or it fits the situation, you can play it. Okay. So, what's next? I mean, I know what's next because I have the PDF open here and I'm looking at it. But Johan, what's next? Brace yourself, guys. We're gonna get worse until the end.
You get worse. You're gonna have a full Lydian diving certificate here. The next thing, and also the Hiroshi stuff is in the PDF as example 6. The next thing that I like to do is to take the same kind of arpeggio, the C major 7, actually the C major triad, plus the sharp 4, plus the major 7 notes. Same as Hiroshi, but playing it as a sequence. So instead of doing it like I did before, Hiroshi thing, you play it. First off, this is in a different position on the fretboard, so you can start up at the 15th fret. And then you play the whole thing, just like a scale sequence. So you play, 3 notes down, then you go up 1 note, play 3 notes down from there, then up 1 note, 3 notes down from there. But you're doing it within the, I guess, Lydian arpeggio. So. Missed a note here. Yeah, I actually skipped the major 7th at the top, and that's just to make it, it would be much harder to play. So sometimes you just, if something is, like Tommaso said, if something is hard to play, make it easier to play, because if you want to play it fast.
I mean, it's not even my saying. I think it's what Joe Pass saying. It was saying that if it's hard to play, just don't play
it. Pretty much, I agree 100%. Unless it's a part of a composition or songwriting or something like that. But if you're just improvising, make it easy. So yeah, and that's it. So you play the whole sequence. This one, I have to admit, I had to work on it. the other ones are easier to play, but this one I had to get the picking pattern right, get the legato thing right, and I notated it exactly as I play it. So hopefully this can help with playing it. So if you're playing it fast, it's gonna sound more like this. Shit. And again, the what do you call it? The fingering is easy. You just move down and make sure you don't. I think it's mostly, let's see. It's the index finger, middle finger, and pinky finger, the entire thing, except for just the first this note, the 14th fret up here. So it's also, whenever you can avoid the ring finger, it's good, because it's harder to play fast with these kinds of trills between the ring finger and the other fingers. So in this one, it's just easy to play. You could design this lick so you play it on different strings, different, shifting strings at different points, but then it would just be harder to play. So this one is designed to be easier to play. It still requires work, but it's at least the easiest way I found. So yeah, it's a sequence. You could do it the other way. It's a lot harder though. So this one is just really easy descending, not at all easy going upwards. So basically, you just have to find cool shortcuts to make fast playing easy. So yeah, and you can of course move it around if you're playing in a different Lydian mode. It works everywhere. It spans quite a lot of frets, so it's from 15th fret to the 8th fret, but you can still, you can play it in a lot of different keys as well. And you can do that basically with any arpeggio, any type of thing. But we're in the Lydian mode for now, so let's not open that can of ideas. Yeah, and then the next.
But
did you have
but
something
we
to
all
say
have the
about
same. But we all have the same question here. So will this get me the
and
babes? Yes, it
affirmative.
will.
Great.
Also, do you have a PDF with chart maps for us to see as we practice? Yes, the PDF is in the description of the video. You guys can click. I'm saying it again. There's a PDF linked in the description of the video. Let me double check. There is a PDF, indeed. I did put it. I remembered to put it. The PDF is in the description of the video. I need to double check because sometimes I forget. You go in the description of the video, click on it, download it, and then you have all those links written down in abs. Okay, so you can totally follow along. Or this video is gonna stay up in the YouTube channel, so you guys can go back and see every single lick again and again and again and again. Okay, so yep. So again, yes, we have a PDF. Yes, this will give you the base. Okay, so let's go on to, and you're welcome. Let's go on to the final lick. Lick.
I think we have a prelude to the final. So we have a superimposing two chords. This is just a quick. It looks hard to play, but it's not that hard. What you do here? There's a massive lick at the end, but let's do this one first. This can help with learning the cool lick. So this one is again superimposing two chords. We have the C major chord and the D major chord, and together when you play them, close together or close together in time, play them fast basically. It's gonna sound like Lydian. And what you do is you have a 4-string C major arpeggio, basically like a chord. You're gonna sweep it. Here it's really important that for the frets 8 here, that you don't bar it, but you play it as you roll the finger back and forth. So let me see if I can show it here. That's really going to help with getting it clean when you play it. So then you're going to stretch out your pinky finger to the 12th fret, so you get the 3rd here. Then we're basically just going to move that up 2 frets, so we have the D major chord. But what I do is I slide up to the next one, because that's, again, this will make it easier to play. So you play the C major triad, and you slide to the D. And then play it slow. So. And I also have some delay, so the notes are kind of bleeding together. That also helps to get the, the goal here should be to make it sound like one big arpeggio, so it's not C major, D major, C major, D major, but to try to get them to flow together. And then, of course, if you play it fast, you get the... where it sounds like just one fast arpeggio. So, and you can do that with any two, C major arpeggio, D major arpeggio, anywhere, just any major triad arpeggios that you can just combine them and get a cool sound. So that's the idea. You can also do it with just, I guess, 2-string arpeggios. Just find a C major, D major, C major, D major, and just do it on 2 strings as well, or 3 strings. The specifics is just how you play it on guitar. Then the theory is just 2 triads that you combine basically. Sounds like Nintendo, exactly.
Yep, it does, because it is. It's several of the soundtracks of the Nintendo games, where especially the optimistic themes, the adventure themes, are in Lydian. That's several movies too, by the way. Okay, Back to the Future is in Lydian, the main theme of Back to the Future. So I mean, this stuff is used, and yes, it does sound that way. Okay, so now for reals, let's go on the final lick.
Okay, I don't know if you guys are ready for this, but we're doing it anyway. So this is the Lydian Monster Lick, and this is a combination of the lick we just did, the 4-string thing, going up to the D major. Then it's going to add a couple of legato things, 1 tap, and then it's going to go down, basically like the example 7, where it's basically goes down in the arpeggio sequence. Or actually, this is not a sequence, this is just the scale right through. So it's going to start with the 4-string thing, but we're going to add 3 notes on the 6th string and 5th string. So it's basically the first C major triad is going to be like a 6-string arpeggio. So. And here, to get it to work properly, I play the index finger first, and hammer with the pinky finger, and then for the next notes on the 10th fret, I play the ring finger. This is important, because if you don't do that, you're going to run out of fingers. So it's important to go to the ring finger here, and then you play the whole thing. So then it's just the C major triad, back to the 4th string, and then you slide up to the D note, to the F sharp, and then from here we're going to slide up to the G note on the 15th fret. Then we're going to do a couple of legato things. So to accentuate the Lydian sound. Then after those, we're going to tap the C note up here. And then we're just going to go down the scale. Actually, not the scale, the Lydian arpeggio. So a little trill. Trill. So we're basically traveling through C major, D major, C major, and then just a Lydian arpeggio. Together, if I play it slowly first, it's going to sound like this. So just a long Lydian line. If I play slightly faster, it's going to sound like this. It flows very nice with the fingers. I'm going to try to play it super fast. I haven't practiced this a whole lot.
Slightly faster. Slightly faster.
Let me try the real thing. Okay. So. Something like that. It's a fun one to play, and the thing is, even if you don't play it fast, it's still great to practice technique. I tell my students that all the time. If they're practicing, I don't know, a guitar solo like Stairway to Heaven or Bohemian Rhapsody or anything, you don't have to play it at the original speed first. Just practicing it will develop your technique. So you obviously don't have to spend the rest of your life learning the Lydian monster lick and, you know, lock yourself in a cabin for 2 months and just learn this. I would just use this as a, you know, cool thing to practice. And I mean, if you do it enough, you could get it up to speed and play it faster as well. Because it's designed to, you know, work with the way the hand works, that, you know, the fingering and all that. Yeah, it's just a cool way to practice the Lydian mode, and also helps with, you know, fretboard knowledge. You know, learning where are the Lydian scale, where's the, how can you travel back and forth, and how can you combine different ideas. So yeah, so that's the monster lick.
Nice. I'd say nice. Okay. So, couple of things. There's at least one person here who said the practice book is not downloading. I'm gonna check. We're gonna check it as soon as we finish the stream. But it seems to be downloading to me. But it doesn't work for you guys. Let us know. Okay, we're gonna fix it if it's a problem. No problem. Can we do a video on how to get bass with guitar while doing a handstand? Sorry, out of the 3 skills of playing guitar, getting babes and doing a handstand, I'm not good at one of them. My handstands suck. So you're gonna have to find another person. Okay. So let me pick a few other questions that we were having. By the way, where is the intro music from? I wrote it, I recorded it, I played it, I never released it. Maybe one day I will release it. Okay. But yeah, it's mine. It's me playing. La 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 la. If you guys have any other questions, write them now. Okay, so we can answer. In the meantime, yeah, like it says, you have worked for me for the download. So for some people it seems to work, for some it doesn't. If it doesn't work, guys, write me an email. I'll send it to you. It's not a problem. Very good. In the meantime, I have something for you guys. So just give me a second here. But if you guys want to know more about all that, I will recommend you guys get the not this. I know something wasn't working. I recommend you guys get this ebook. Okay. You find this ebook at the link below. Okay, pentatonicguitar.html, musicforguitar.com. So This is a free book, completely free, no string attached. You can get it, you can study it. These are the tricks of the pros that makes your pentatonic scale sound professional. And those are not licks. Those are the building blocks of licks. You check, you do this, you put it together, you create new licks. You can become a fountain of new licks. That you can make them sound like the old licks or make them sound completely new, depending on what you want. But the tricks, the building blocks are in there. Now, what has this to do with the Lydian mode? Well, if you guys have noticed, okay, you can play Lydian with arpeggios. You can also play Lydian with pentatonics. There are tricks for that. Some of those tricks, there's not a trick about Lydian specifically in the ebook, but I can give you one in a second. Okay. And it will work and it will sound great. But you can play modes using pentatonic. And if you want to know more about that, I have a course called Master of the Modes where we go down in depth in the modes. And one of the things I show you is also how to play modes using only pentatonics. Anyway, this ebook is free. Get it. Now I'm going to show you the trick. The trick is very simple. In fact, Johan pretty much showed the thing already. Using Hiroshi, but you can do it with a standard pentatonic too. The idea is this. Let's say you were playing in any major chord, and let's say I'm playing A major. Okay? The root of the A major is A. Now carefully shift down by 1 fret and play the standard minor pentatonic. And if on an A, on an A major chord, you play the G sharp minor pentatonic, you are playing 5 notes of the Lydian scale. And so whatever you play here will sound Lydian. That's what you're doing. Okay, you just need to shift down 1 from the root. It's the easiest thing. Anyway, so everything I show in the 18 tips to make your pentatonic solo sound great will work in Lydian too, just by shifting everything down 1 fret. Do it. Do we have more questions? We have a few. Well, we have these. When did you start playing guitar, each of you? I started when I was 14, but I'm not telling you how old I am now. When did you start playing guitar, Johan?
I was 8, and yeah, I had nothing better to do, so it's a fun thing to do, to play.
Yeah. Okay. And now if we answer the personal questions too. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Johan, for showing us all those leaks. That was a lot of work, and those leaks are great. And again, those are kind of a compendium of easy leak you can speed up. They are easy enough that you can speed them up, or at least they are easy at speed. Okay, so you guys can share it with those. They are not the most complicated thing ever. You can sit down and learn a few. And if they are too complex for you, because I mean, people are different levels, you can always write to one of us. Okay, and then we'll help. Now, thank you, everybody. Go and download the free ebooks. Go and download the PDF file. Thank you for coming to this music theory live. And until next time, enjoy.